skip it. See it or skip it. See it or skip it.
Welcome to a new See It or Skip It. We're going to be talking about Karate Kid, the new film that's coming out with Jackie Chan, plus a film that was shot in Utah that is on HBO coming up tomorrow. We've got a documentary, and we've got these two lovely gentlemen with me today. Tracy, Mangum, I've heard you've got a pretty scary film to introduce.
We do. It's a new A24 film. I'm going to say see it with Bring Her Back.
Ooh, okay. Very interesting. We'll have to find out why. Richard, what do you have for us?
Well, I have a very big documentary about a pee-wee.
And if that's the best tease that we're going to have, I don't know what else we're going to do here.
If you have an extra 3 hours, you should check it out. How about that?
Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us. I'm Patrick, your host. And let's first cut to this QR code right now. Go ahead and scan that. That's going to take you to all of our social media and to the podcast, where later in the week, if you want to catch up, you can go and click on that, see all the things, make sure that you're rating and reviewing us. And with that being said, we were waxing on a little bit too much before getting into the Karate Kid movie.
Waxing off.
You knew Mr. Miyagi?
I did not come looking for Sensei Miyagi. I came looking for you.
In this, I think we have a new look at an original film, basically. Not a lot has changed, except we've got Jackie Chan and we've got some of the original characters. But Tracy, me and you were in a theater for this.
Right.
Packed crowd of everybody having so much fun. But for me, I don't know if it really hit that mark. What do you think?
I am a Gen Xer, and I grew up on the original Karate Kid. Like, that was one that was in regular rotation on my VHS, right? So I enjoyed it, but I think a lot of it is it's because the new actors were really quite interesting. I liked Joshua Jackson as the dad. I liked the new Karate Kid. I liked the young love interest. And so I'm thinking, okay, this is interesting. We're doing something new. We're doing something kind of cool. And then they brought back Ralph Macchio and Jackie Chan, and the focus shifted more to them. And then the bottom kind of fell out for me.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a whiff towards the end. I actually was really excited for the first half of the movie because it feels like it's a completely different script, right, Richard? We've got Joshua Jackson as this pizza guy owner that is in debt and needs to get money from loan sharks. They're coming after him. They skip past a lot of the traditional Karate Kid stuff where it's like, here's this love interest, but she's with someone else who's the head of the big evil gang, and he wants to fight because they're challenging each other. They kind of breeze past it, but our lead character, that actor, is very charismatic, and I loved watching him. Richard, what'd you think of this?
I thought they should have called it Karate Kid Again. Rather than, it was, I mean,
It's the first movie.
It's
Times
the
2
first
speed.
movie. I mean, they upped some of the stakes because the first movie was pretty much, oh, there's this bully and I have to prove myself against him, that kind of thing. And this one does have some more stakes here and there for, like, his character, Joshua
Jackson.
Dr. Odyssey.
You know, I saw him and I went, is that who
Dr.
I think
Odyssey
it is?
on ABC4.
Yes, it is. Okay, and of course, our new Karate Kid has more stakes as well. But it's pretty much the same movie again. In fact, it's totally 80s, huh?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, the music, the fonts, the wipes in between. Really, it's 1984. And I think that guys our age, Gen X, are going to like it because it is so nostalgic. And I think the other folks will like it because it's just a feel-good movie, and you know in the first 10 minutes what the plot of this movie is.
Right.
Because you've seen it already.
You know where it's going to go.
Several times.
A couple times better.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, this is a story that honestly holds up, and people still come out and they want to root for this underdog, and they want the bad guy to fall, and they want the crowd to cheer. It's a very tried and true formula that I think works for the most part. I think, the jaded part of the critic is like, we've seen so many of these, so now we have to judge it off of the best, like Creed or something like that. That's not what audiences are going for. They're just wanting to enjoy a summer film. I think that makes it a see it for me.
A lot of the kids were really engaged with the movie too, which I wasn't sure how they would do. My big problem was that, like I said, that we kind of shift focus away from the new kid who was so charismatic and so good. Yeah, he's so good in this. And then the editing was really choppy for me. Whereas when we're doing a fight scene, especially like martial arts, I want a long shot where I can see this dance of these people moving and flowing. And in this one, it was just, I'm going, you usually do that when you're trying to hide the fact that somebody can't do martial arts.
And
this kid can.
Yeah, exactly.
I think they tried to make that fight sequence a montage, like the rest of the movie.
But here's the thing.
You take a shot for a montage, you'll be out in the first half hour.
Rocky does montages, though, and even Creed
Rocky
did
had
a
a
montage.
montage.
You gotta have a montage. The South Park episode.
Here's what
Yeah.
needed to happen. In my opinion, I think the second half of the movie is an entirely different thing. If they wanted to do two different things, maybe that would work. Or at least move the runtime up, maybe an extra half hour to really flesh out like the characters
It feels
between
rushed.
It was
yeah,
short.
and their dynamics.
It was pretty short.
Yeah, it's
And it was under 2
94
hours.
minutes. Yeah.
And it feels that way. It zips along. Like this kid loses a fight in the morning, then kicks the crap out of 3 people in the afternoon.
You don't know what
and
day
then
it
that
is by
night
the
says,
end.
I can't fight. I'm like, you fought twice today. It's fast.
Yeah.
It's fast, but I do think it's furious. And some of the people that come out and see this are going to have a good time. So make sure that if you're out there, we're going to have to check it out. But let's first
But I think it's going to be one of these. Right now, Rotten Tomatoes has it at like 55.
I think the audience
people
will
are
be-
going to like it.
I think
And the
so, too.
critics are going to be going, but it stinks. They're going to be going,
Hey.
I had a good time.
It's fun. I'd say see it.
And I hope that when we're like, it was not the greatest, that it doesn't sound like we're talking down or pandering to like the audience. Because honestly, I do think people just want to have something entertaining.
If you like the first one, you'll like this one too. Because it's the first one with a little bit more.
Little twist to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what I really loved? Seeing this when I was trying to check out another movie yesterday.
Whoops.
Okay, should we start in the review or should we go into this dilemma that I
There's a
have?
dilemma.
I want to
Let's
hear
start
the
with
dilemma.
Okay, okay,
Because
so-
frankly, you might have dodged a bullet in a way.
Interesting. Okay, so this is for Bring Her Back. We were going to check out this movie yesterday. It was a 5:10 screening. I had seen the where you get the tickets early and you can
Online.
check it on the app and stuff. Maybe about an hour or two before going into the movie. I was late getting there, I'll admit. And look, I don't want to throw any movie theater under the bus, so we're not going to say who, but it was Megaplex. And I think that because I went in there expecting maybe to get straight through the previews, and there wasn't anybody that had purchased a ticket, I guess, at that hour point. They had switched it to Karate Kid instead of Bring Her Back. So I had to walk in to a screening with a poster that says Bring Her Back and immediately be met with Jackie Chan.
You're like, wait a minute. This
I
is
didn't even
not-
know they could do that.
Well, see,
Yeah,
that's the interesting dilemma for me, right? Because I obviously didn't get the ticket before people who wanted to see Karate Kid got tickets. Who should they cater more towards? Where they originally had Bring Her Back on the screening or the other? I don't think there's an answer between the two. It's really up to management, but I found it interesting. That being said, that's why I did not watch this movie.
Well, I think they should cater to the folks to what they said they were going
I
to
agree.
do.
I was too much
But
of a
with the
people
listed-
pleaser.
Right, with the
Listed
listed
movie.
one.
I said, okay, and I just walked away. But the next
so you
screening
didn't
was
watch
for
it
later.
again?
No.
Telling.
Literally, I can tell people I walked out of Karate Kid.
He literally walked out of Karate
As a
Kid
critic,
Legends.
you
Yeah.
walked out a legend.
But let's talk about Bring Her Back.
We're going to put you with a foster mum called Laura. You're going to love her.
Oh, welcome to your new home. This is my daughter's room. I want to show you something else. This way.
So this is a new movie from A24. I am a fan of A24 because
too.
this studio makes movies that no other studio would even dare to touch. This is a film that is very horrific in terms of there is so much emotional weight behind the moments of this film. It's not mindless, it's not a slasher film. This is a movie about loss and sorrow and empathy and heartbreak and pain and what you would do to save someone that you love.
So this feels very much like an A24 comedy.
Yeah, it's definitely for the kids.
Like, we've seen movies like Hereditary and Midsommar, and they do go into that psychological horror. Richard, you got to see this too. Do you feel the same way as Tracy?
Yes, I do. I saw this with a few people who were paying to see it, and they all had the same reaction. I was watching it going, oh my gosh, oh, no, and trying to watch. It takes a little bit of while to get cooking.
Yes, it's
but
a little
even that
slow
stuff is
start.
important later.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
you're kind of watching going, what's the deal with this? What's the deal with that? And then later you'll get a payoff. But once it locks in, and there is a specific scene where you know they're like a switch. is flipped.
Now we're going.
And it's disturbing. It's
Okay.
twisted.
Now,
days
family
later.
film. Families going into this. Who is this actually for? Is this go with
Us.
just one close friend? Go by yourself?
pick your friend, be selective in who you invite. Because if you invite the wrong person, they're going to be like, what is wrong with you?
Why did you bring
me here?
So this is
But
one
if you
of
bring
those.
the right friend, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, we got to talk about this. But days later, I'm still thinking about this movie. I can still hear
We were talking about
certain sounds in this movie that are
Wow.
going to stick with me. And I was thinking about it later. I'm like, is this what people felt like when they first saw The Exorcist or
Right.
Rosemary's Baby?
Wow.
Right.
That
in
is
terms
a
of
big
I do
push.
think in 20 years, I don't know it's going to blow up the box office right now, but I think it's going to get a groundswell of a cult following. And I really do believe in about 20 years, people will be like, do you remember that moment?
I also think it may be nominated for a few technical aspects.
Okay, much like how
Sound
The
effects,
Substance
for
got a lot.
instance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
And,
so
and something that was interesting that I liked that maybe these guys brought with them from the YouTube thing was there's some things that happen on videotape.
Yes.
I won't give it away, but even that is a little creepy. And
we start with that,
it's
too.
retro, yeah, you start with it, but also it hides a bit. You can't, it's old, you know, and it hides some things. And it does what Jaws did way back in the day where we didn't show you this exactly. It's close, and you
get
sort of fill it in with your head.
Little
but
snippets.
that's what makes it even more terrifying.
And the whole time I'm waiting for what is this thing? And it comes. They give it to you eventually, and it's
So properly
Sally
built
Hawkins,
horror. Sally Hawkins.
is phenomenal.
Yes.
And the little boy who plays Owen, her
Ollie?
son, is it Ollie? I think it is Ollie. I think you're
Ollie.
right. Yeah, sorry.
he's going to need some.
He's going to need
therapy.
some therapy. I came out of that going, they put that kid through the ringer, but what a performance.
Okay, so this is a see it from both of you.
Oh yeah.
See it if you know what you're getting into.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
imagining once I finally get into a correct
We
theater
need
with
to
it,
have some
I can
discussions.
come and talk about this,
Just
and probably
buy
next
a ticket
week.
for Karate Kid, and it'll be.
And then walk in.
Right.
See,
and then
yeah.
walk right in.
I'll
It'll
say,
be-
Balance in all things.
check out the trailer. The trailer does not give the movie away, but avoid spoilers. The less you know, the better this film's going to be.
Yep. Well, there you go, everybody. Make sure that you check that out, but be careful who you bring your friends with. With that being said,
Guess what? I'm having a party, and you're invited.
It's weird to be in this situation having a documentary made because I'm used to having control of my alter ego. I wanted to be a performance artist. I could show you my characters. There wasn't like a moment in the 80s that wasn't super cool to be me. And then dark music, bum, 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 bum. I lost control of my anonymity, and it was devastating.
You know, I knew as much about Pee Wee Herman as anyone as far as, oh, he had the Playhouse, he had this movie, that movie blew up, that movie didn't do so well, and this didn't do so well.
That career blew up.
And there's career, and that's that. And I thought, that's what I'm going to hear about. The whole first part is actually spent on a lot of him before you know who he is as Pee Wee and how he comes to be. And it's really interesting because he's doing this sort of himself. He is talking directly to a camera and almost self-directing. In fact, there's a bit of a push and pull with the actual director.
Right.
Because Paul Rubens, Pee Wee Herman, is used to doing things his way. And he wants this biography this way, too.
well, he's got a lot to cover, and this is very much an all-encompassing story about his life. And we know now, because he's passed away, that there are things that we didn't know until this documentary came out, specifically calling to attention like his sexuality, the behind-the-scenes stuff of when he was arrested, and all of the things that happened to him personally at that point. I think it's for everybody to decide for themselves to watch the movie and make your own judgments about those serious things. But I do think it's very interesting, like you mentioned. We have creative clashes between if Paul Rubens is ready to have all of the truth come out, and actually he dodges a lot of questions, I noticed.
Yeah. One of the interesting things because I saw this up at Sundance, and the director talked about how Paul he called up HBO, and because Pee Wee's Playhouse got its start on HBO. Before the syndicated TV show and before the movie. And he wanted HBO to allow him to direct a documentary about himself. And they said, no, you've got to have someone else direct it. And they kind of addressed that at the beginning of the film and then again at the end of the film. But he talks about, I'm such a control freak and I'm so in control of this character, I can't let somebody, and it's interesting, in the documentary he talks about how much he is that character and how much that character became him. He was Pee-wee all the time.
And he mentions the star in the Walk of Fame isn't even his name.
Right.
It's the character's name.
In the original Pee-wee movie, it does not say Paul Reubens except by story by.
And a lot of people didn't know who played the character.
Right.
So he didn't get a lot of, what he considered to be the credit for bringing this character out, because no one knew who he was, really.
It took a long time for him to get to where he was in that career. And it was also really nice to see where the career landed. It wasn't necessarily the highest point, it wasn't the 80s, but it was certainly where he got more of his flowers, I guess. I would say this is a documentary that if you have the time, it's definitely worth checking out, but it's a long stretch to really get to a couple big points. I don't know if there's a ton to have filled this 3.5-hour runtime, but I would still say to see it, especially for people that love documentaries.
Well, you saw it at Sundance. Was it together?
Yes, we had a short intermission.
Okay, I was going to say.
We had like a 25-minute intermission, but it is.
I think it's something to watch, especially because you can have a break. There's a very natural break, and it's part one, and then there's part two. And in part two, it really does hit hard. I won't give anything away, except to say that you do get to hear what it's like from the point of view of someone who's being accused of something horrendous and who basically was judged in the court of public opinion before anything ever happened. And that's really awful. It's really, it's a tough thing to hear, tough thing to watch.
And it's interesting to hear him talk about his own life because, again, we know him as Pee Wee Herman. We don't know Paul Reubens. And to talk about his upbringing and going to college and developing this character and what was happening behind the scenes and the issues with like Phil Hartman and trying out for SNL. And there's so much there that's interesting. And the thing that I came away with from this movie is he lived a very lonely life. And at the end, he knows he's dying of cancer. The filmmaker doesn't even know that he's got cancer. And this is like his last chance to put out there, this is the real me, this is the real Paul Reubens.
Right.
I found it fascinating. I didn't mind the runtime.
Sounds like a see it from all of us. So make sure that you check that out. That is on HBO Max. There's actually two more that we're going to talk about. But first, let's talk about Jane Austen, us men.
I'm Jane Austen's great nephew. I just think her work is a little overrated.
Insupportable. Genre, il se la pète énormément.
Je parle français, vous savez.
All right, so Jane Austen wrecked my life. This is a romantic comedy.
Me too!
It's out in theaters right now, and honestly, I had a really fun, pleasurable time. I think it's one of those feel-good rom-coms that anybody could sit down, watch, and get something out of. It worked well for me. What did you think, Richard?
I didn't see it.
You didn't see it?
I saw the first three.
Well, there you go. You skipped it. I guess
I didn't skip it. I just didn't see it.
You've seen all the Pride and Prejudice, though.
Oh, several hundred times.
Multiple on repeat.
Oh, yeah.
It's your go-to feel-good movie.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm not going to really put this up as like something we're going to talk a ton about because honestly, it's not necessarily my style. It's not where I'm going to be watching a ton more Jane Austen films, and it didn't get me into Jane Austen, but I had a fun time watching this movie.
I found this one to be really charming. It surprised me. I didn't know much about it going into it. It is in French and in English, but I felt like the acting was really good. I love the cinematography. The coloring in this movie was so good. It's very rich and full, and it was surprisingly entertaining from a guy that does not like Jane Austen. I don't like Jane Austen movies. I've tried to read her books.
He said that.
Get him.
Send all the hate mail over here. But I really enjoyed this film. I thought it was really well done. I would recommend checking this one out.
So that's two
fun
see-its
little
for
romantic
us.
comedy.
I did see the trailer, and I thought, I'm actually interested. So
yeah,
I will check it out. Put it that way.
The acting was really, really good.
I think this is one that you can take your girlfriends out or your boyfriends
Mm-hmm.
out to go and watch it. And then maybe later go watch Karate
Bring her
Kid.
back.
And you got a double date right there.
Bring her back to Jane Austen.
Bring her back.
Oh my gosh. All right.
She'll love it.
All right, let's talk about Mountainhead.
Guys,
is this on every channel?
there have been a number of occurrences since your launch.
UN officials are now openly attributing the recent uptick in ethnic tension to powerful new generative AI tools unveiled last week on Tram.
I just want to say this is not on you, Venice.
Obviously, it's not on me. Why would you even say that?
So this is one that I got to see a little bit early. This is on HBO Max. This is a look at a Silicon Valley group of people that basically have the world at ransom in a way, because their deepfake AI technology is causing world chaos. People are thinking that dignitaries and leaders are getting assassinated. Nobody knows what's really happening. Well, they're up
Is this a
top.
documentary?
This doesn't sound
This
real at all.
sounds today.
It's a mockumentary, if you will.
Okay.
Much like a Nathan Fielder, you don't know whether it's real or not. But I have to say, this is written and directed by Jesse Armstrong, who did the Succession story. And oh man, it is still just as well written as that series. You have Steve Carell leading the charge with this comedic Machiavellianism, where he's just like evil, but also so like, well, you know,
Charming.
we can hang out still. We're still friends, right? And like a lot of back deals, people saying that they love each other but getting mad because they talked crap on a podcast. Meanwhile, there's literally beheadings and stuff happening on the television, and it's much like what is the Kubrick movie?
Dr.
Strangelove, where it's just
there's no fighting in the war room,
to
gentlemen.
what is actually happening. I found it to be really cool. I think all the performances are great. It's absolutely a see it. It comes out tomorrow.
Your description does sound like a documentary, though.
But it's so
I mean,
funny.
I have it right down to the podcast and everything. I'm like,
with the new
this
Google
one is
announcement.
guilt-free. You don't have to go, oh no, this is real life. You can watch it. And it was filmed in Utah, so you've got the beautiful Utah slopes, the mountains, perfect.
Well,
and a few locals actually were cast in the movie. Not a
I
lot. It's a
wasn't.
very self-contained thing, but I liked it quite a bit.
I'm very much
you
looking forward to
cast
this
in
one.
it?
I was not.
No locals were cast in it.
No, well, we're not actors, Richard. Unless you're an actor. Unless the whole thing was an act.
The whole
Oh,
thing's
boy.
an act.
Well, finally, let's move to the rehearsal, because season 2 just wrapped up. I like doing this where we start talking about a series that just started out and see if the takeoff and landing were both successful. And in this case, might be literal. Nathan Fielder is investigating these plane crashes as a hobby.
He's a comedian.
Right. Trying to figure out if it's an issue with communication between the co-pilot and the first officer. Come to find out, that is a lot of what could be causing it, but he takes it a little further, and he spends 2 years getting a pilot's license to become an actual pilot and go into a cockpit, film himself taking off and landing a Boeing 747 with a full crew and passengers to see if this is actually a thing. The level of method acting Tom Cruise would bow for. It's incredible. Tracy, what do you think?
It is such an interesting concept, and I like his comedy. It's so deadpan, and you don't know whether you should laugh or not. And there's times where you're going, where is he going with this joke? Where is he going with this bit? And it keeps going and it keeps going, and then towards the end of the episode, the payoff hits, and it hits so hard.
So suspenseful. That last episode, I was gripping the couch, just shocked at because they really don't tell you until the very, very end. And when that reveal shows up, you're just like, this is chaos. I cannot believe that he went to these lengths.
Well, and one of the things that he brings up is you can't go to a mental health specialist if you're a pilot or co-pilot. You're not allowed in the cockpit. If you go to talk to a psychiatrist or a counselor, you have to then step back from your job. You're not seen as to be fit.
Really?
And
you're trying to get help.
He takes the test, and they ask him if he has any mental issues, and then it says at the end, etc. It's like, I don't know what etc. is. So, no.
Yep.
And then when he's in the cockpit learning how to fly, the pilot says to him, if you're here, you're good enough to be here. There's nothing wrong with you. If you can do this, you can do it.
But that kind of seems like the way they get through, not necessarily the truth, which is fascinating.
This is a documentary too.
I know.
It's a documentary comedy hybrid.
This is a great week for HBO. So if you don't have it, HBO Plus Go Max now. It is definitely something that you should check out.
You know what I really like about this? I didn't know about some of these, and now I want to see them.
It's funny. It's heartbreaking. It's smart. It hits all the buttons.
How many episodes?
6.
Not a lot. Yeah, it actually goes by pretty quickly.
And they're 35 minutes each.
Oh, you could do that in a day.
Absolutely.
Each one is shocking.
Yeah.
Even more and more shocking than the last. That's why it was tough to recommend until we got to this ending. And that's where I'm like, you know what? Power through the Sully Sullenberg episode. As much as it shocks you, it's the funniest part of the whole thing.
And it's funny, too, because they're talking about pilots and communication inside the cockpit and mental health. And then there's also this subplot with a singing competition. And you're going, wait, what? And then it all comes together.
like
There's
this.
all
There are
these
lawsuits.
disparate
I like
things.
this already.
There's lawsuits currently happening right now because he put unwilling people in this fake competition, singing competition, in order for him to figure out more stuff about the pilots. And he built an entire terminal from scratch to imitate what that way.
This is
Richard,
synecdoche, New York.
I want
I
to know.
feel like you've already seen it.
I
with what
want to
we're
know
saying.
how he got this passed to HBO. Like, if you pitch this idea to HBO, they're like, you're going to spend years putting this together with nobody knowing anything about it, and we're just going to trust you that you can pull it off at the end.
And he does. It's fantastic.
See?
I've never
wanna check
seen
it out
television
now.
like it before. This is definitely a see it and one to check out. Now let's talk about a couple film anniversaries. We were speaking about Jaws just recently. It's now hit its 50th anniversary. Do we have any great Jaws memories? First time you've seen it?
Oh, I still haven't done something I would really like to do, and maybe with this anniversary they'll be doing it, where they show it at like an outdoor pool.
Oh, yeah.
And you watch it on rafts. That would
That'd be so great.
pretty awesome.
That would be.
And I would be that guy who's under going like this.
I thought you'd be the guy with the shark fin. You'd be even more subtle.
I'll be the shark fin. Tracy, what's one of your favorite memories of Jaws? Just a quick
The first
review
time
of
I
what you
saw
love
it was my parents watching it, and I was supposed to be in bed, and I snuck behind the couch and watched it like this with them not knowing. And I was afraid to even take a bath or a shower. That's how bad it got me. I'm dying. There's so much cool merchandise coming out from the Universal 50th anniversary.
Oh, yeah.
There's so much merch. It's great.
I do have a request. I want someone to cosplay a Harley Quint.
No.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
It would be, and I
just
could see that
half.
happening in Fan X.
You're going to need a bigger bat.
100% that's going to happen.
I wanna see it.
You're putting it out into
Putting it out there, I want to see it.
the
You
sphere.
share it with us.
Fan X cosplay contest winner right
Exactly.
there. That's what
I
that
would
is.
also recommend for the 50th, if you don't want to watch the film and are interested maybe a cool documentary, Jaws, the making of is fascinating. It's on YouTube for free. You can watch how everything failed in this
everything
film.
went
And
wrong.
by every stretch of failure, they were still able to find success. It's fascinating. Definitely one I'd recommend.
It's a rare, perfect movie. I can't find any
it's
fault with
great.
that movie.
Yep. Well, with that said, that about does it for this episode of Cedar Skip It. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Make sure that you scan that QR code to go to all of our social media and the podcast. I want to thank both of my guests. Tracy, tell the people where they can find you.
Moviesthatmakeus.com. We have a podcast and then also written reviews as well.
Awesome. And Richard?
Rock 106.7 on Fridays and here whenever you let me.
Yeah, there's no reason why you weren't on the last 2 weeks. He's learning how to fly or something. I don't know.
He's Nathan Fielder in life.
He's Nathan Fielder.
Utah's Nathan Fielder.
He kind of is in that case. Well, with that being said, thank you so much as always for watching. Here's a sneak peek of next week, and we will see you at the next review.